Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here. Welcome back to another video for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. And today I want to talk some more about rumors. Your boy has been playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity this weekend. Honestly, having an absolute blast with that game, and I'm all in the kind of Breath of the Wild mood because of course I'm back in that world. And it kind of then spurred on the idea to kind of talk about where we're currently at with Breath of the Wild 2. Of course, there still hasn't been any new information officially, but since the last time I did a rumor roundup, which you guys seem to really enjoy, there have been a few new things worth talking about. Admittedly, right now information is still sparse, so there isn't like a great deal to kind of work on, but there are a couple of very interesting things that I do still want to touch on. So if you guys do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. If you're excited for when we do finally get some Breath of the Wild information, then make sure you stick around because I am so incredibly excited for that, and I will 100% be covering it the second the next trailer drops. But for the time being, where are we currently at? Well, if you guys caught the last rumor roundup, then you'll of course know that, this year was Mario's 35th anniversary, so of course Nintendo's focus is much more on Mario this year. However, more importantly, next year is Zelda's 35th anniversary, so it's going to be a perfect time to not only release a big installment to the franchise, but also drop those remasters for the Switch, and of course any kind of potential additional side projects they may be working on. So regardless, no matter what happens, next year is going to be a big one for Zelda. Of course, on top of that, we know that Breath of the Wild 2 came as a desire for the development team to return to the world of the first game, to incorporate fresh ideas, story and gameplay that were established within the world, but just didn't fit as DLC releases. The locations within that world are said to have much more depth, with large portions of Hyrule even being raised into the sky, forming large craters and underground caverns for us to explore, and of course Zelda staples such as dungeons and key items are hinted to be returning. So that is of course what I covered in my last video, and if you want to see that in greater detail, I will link it down below. But that brings us to the most recent stuff. So of course, on the official side of things, all we've heard right now is from Eiji Aonuma. He commented on the state of Breath of the Wild 2 during an announcement video for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. He stated that, regarding the sequel, in order to make the vast world you enjoyed exploring in the original game even more impressive, the team is working hard on its development. So you'll have to wait a little bit longer before we can provide more updates. Now, that doesn't really give us anything to go on. Do keep in mind, however, that the Game Awards are not that far away, and historically there have been some new announcements shown in the Game Awards for Nintendo games and other IP, and there was also the rumor that last year Breath of the Wild 2 trailer was supposed to be dropping in the kind of Game Awards, and obviously there were various different delays, so maybe we'll see a trailer that soon, maybe it'll be further out, but regardless, that's of course confirmation that they are still hard at work. So that's kind of all we've had on the official front. However, there are a few rumors and leaks. One comes from a well-known Nintendo insider, Emily Rogers, who hinted on Twitter that she expects Breath of the Wild 2 to be released late next year, stating in a reply that there is an 85 to 90% chance that it releases around the holidays of 2021, which admittedly would put it a little bit later than I personally anticipated. I'm still in the mindset that it may be dropping in March to kind of coincide with, the anniversary, and that's sort of a similar time window to when it dropped before, so I thought March would be great. Then again, dropping it at a time that doesn't clash with Monster Hunter Rise would also be fantastic, because then it means I can sink as much time as I want into the game, so either way it'll be good. I mean, holiday admittedly would mean I'd have to wait longer, but it would also then mean that if they dropped it over the actual genuine holiday period, being able to play Breath of the Wild 2 over the summer would be fantastic. However, regardless, take it with a massive pinch of salt, that is still a rumor, but Emily Rogers has been very reliable in the past, speaking specifically on Nintendo-related rumors. Additionally, back in August, there was a French retailer known as WTNT who updated their listing showing off not only Breath of the Wild 2, but also a collector's edition. The page itself had specific prices listed for each of the editions, lending to the idea that it might not entirely be placeholder information. Of course, typically whenever a game is announced, websites put up their placeholder listings straight away just so you can drop some money on them, and of course hold your pre-orders. But the fact they've been putting up different listings suggests that potentially they have information on, how that will play out later on. The collector's edition was listed for around €82, and historically WTNT have also accidentally leaked Switch releases in the past, having put up the Witcher 3 Switch port before its announcement. So while this still doesn't give us an actual release date, the fact that there is a potential confirmation of a collector's edition, which again is hardly surprising, it's Zelda, they were obviously going to do it, and I'm going to buy it without question, but that is also something worth noting. Now, that's pretty much it on the rumor front. That's effectively as far as we are right now. So again, if you guys want to sort of catch up on the other rumors, definitely check out that last video because we did go quite in depth into some of the theories that are going around right now. But on the topic of theories, there is one fan thing that I did want to kind of touch on because it does sound really interesting. A lot of people have been making a lot of theories around the story aspects of Breath of the Wild 2, and one of the more popular ones out there right now is that the game is going to incorporate time travel in a sort of Avengers Endgame-esque adventure, that kind of thing. Not to necessarily draw parallels between the Marvel Universe, but this time travel aspect has kind of recently been given some credence, given that in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, time travel is a central part of the story. And if you look at Zelda games historically, it's not exactly a concept that we haven't seen before. So, quite how that'll play out will of course remain to be seen, but the idea that you could potentially explore a world that we know, but in different timelines, would be incredibly exciting. Anyway, for the time being, that is pretty much it. That's a little catch up on where we're at right now. Again, hopefully we get some information later on this year. I would absolutely love it if they could just round out the year with even just a tiny teaser, even if it's like a 30-second teaser, if they just drop a tiny little trailer, that would be amazing. Just give it to us in the Game Awards, could be fantastic. But either way, as and when we find out more, I'll keep you guys up to date. But for the time being, that is where we're at on Breath of the Wild 2. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the HyperX Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there if you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with. It's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.